Welcome to session 3, module 1. Okay, fine. Next, we move on to another topic, pollution. Pollution is the effect of undesirable changes in our surroundings that have harmful effects on plants, animals, and human beings. This occurs when only short-term economic gains are made at the cost of the long-term ecological benefits for life, we can say, not just humanity, for life. Because we are thinking, planning, acting, designing only for our short-term economic gains. Whatever the activities we are doing now for this on this planet Earth, maybe industrialization, automation, whatever we are doing it for just short-term gain. On the other hand, we are polluting the entire globe at the cost of long-term ecological benefits for humanity. No natural phenomena has led to greater ecological changes than have been made by mankind. So that too, especially in this last 100 years, not 100, even 50 years, whatever the changes we have made in our lifestyles, maybe our activities, industries, then that has led to a lot of changes in the ecology which never took place in these millions of years of existence of earth. Hmm. Pollutants include solid, liquid, or gaseous substances present in greater than natural abundance produced due to human activity. Okay. Then effects of air pollution. When we talk about pollution, pollution takes place in almost every aspect of the environment or ecosystem or ecology. So maybe pollution of air, pollution of water, pollution of soil, pollution of noise pollution. So pollution is everywhere. Marine pollution, pollution in the seas. It's found everywhere. We cannot say one particular area where it is polluted. Everything is now totally globally it is polluted. So now we first will take effects of air pollution. What happens? Global warming. The increased concentration of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere led to rise in Earth's average surface temperature. Carbon dioxide majority, then others means methane. Methane again is a highest global warming potential it is having. Hmm. Then greenhouse effect. Acid rain comes mainly from sulfur dioxide emitted from power plants and smelters, and from nitrogen oxides discharged from power plants and automobiles. I hope you remember in the previous videos I have told you about all these things, especially say the sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, when they are liberated after combustion of fuel in the maybe automobiles or power plants, thermal power plants. So these SO2, suppose, reacts with the oxygen, then with the moisture in the atmosphere and forms H2SO4. SO2 plus O2 becomes SO3 plus H2O becomes H2SO4. You know what is H2SO4? It is sulfuric acid. Okay. Then it is collected along with the clouds. Similarly, NOx, NOx, you see, nitrogen oxides, popularly called as NOx, NOx. Say NO2 or NO reacts with the moisture to become HNO3. HNO3 is nitric acid. So these two acids are strong and highly toxic are collected in the atmosphere, then along with the rain, when it rains, leads to acid rain. Okay, so this acid rain is highly toxic, dangerous to all living beings, including plants and animals. So these acids are often carried far before falling as rain or snow. Acids corrode metals and even erode stone buildings and statues, and also highly dangerous to human life also. Then we'll take up air pollutants. Major air pollutants. Number one is carbon monoxide. Number two, carbon dioxide. Number three, nitrogen oxide. Number four, sulfur oxides. Number five, particulate matters. So these are the toxic gases released. Carbon monoxide, when any hydrocarbon fuel burns with oxygen, leads to carbon dioxide, but incomplete combustion leads to carbon monoxide. Okay. Then carbon dioxide, the nitrogen oxide. So at high temperatures inside the engines, at high temperatures, nitrogen also undergo reaction. N plus O2 becomes NO2 or NO. So and even sulfur also burns, undergo reaction, oxidation. S, say S2 plus O2 becomes SO2. So these are the toxic gases released during the combustion of fuels, so which are directly left to the atmosphere. So then particulate matters, some of the solid particles which are coming out of the reaction, maybe in the furnaces or maybe from the engines also. So these are the major pollutants which pollute the air. Then CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. Have you heard of this? CFCs are nothing but the refrigerants. You have seen the refrigerators, air conditioners, or any cooling chambers, or ice industries where they manufacture ice. So all those places we use refrigeration system. So for that refrigeration system, for the heat exchange or cooling purpose, we use fluids which are refrigerants. So refrigerants are made up of chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs they are called. Mhm. So these CFCs, when liberated through leakage from refrigeration system, enters the atmosphere, then they reach the stratosphere, then they destroy the ozone layer. So this I will explain later in the further slides, how it is destroying the ozone layer. Then hazardous air pollutants, some other dangerous pollutants, maybe in the form of paints and all that, highly toxic chemicals in the process industries, paint industry, like that. These are some major polluting agents which we should always try to reduce, minimize. Then ozone. Ozone is of course at stratosphere. It is helping us by absorbing the ultraviolet radiation. This I hope you know. So above the atmosphere there is stratosphere. So when the solar radiation passes through that, this ozone layer absorbs the ultraviolet rays and save us from exposure to ultraviolet rays. Ozone layer is very helpful. On the other hand, in this atmosphere, the presence of ozone is again a polluting. It leads to problems. What is that? We'll see later. Okay, next is acid rain pathway. So, as I told you in the previous slides, so this liberation of nitrous oxides, sulfur oxides, so they leads to acid rain, because when the fuel undergo combustion, maybe in the furnace or engines, so these NOx, nitrogen oxides, and sulfur oxides are generated and they are liberated through the exhaust to the atmosphere. So through the in the industries, in the furnace, or maybe from the automobiles, then these react with the moisture and they form acid. SO2 forms SO3, then becomes H2SO4, sulfuric acid. NOx, NOx in the form of NO2 or NO, leads to NO3, leads to HNO3, nitric acid. These two are strong acids. They are collected in the atmosphere and then they fall along with rain or sometimes before the rain usually falls, and this acid rain leads to many health issues, lot of problems, maybe for the buildings structures, because it reacts, the acid reacts with the metals and metals get rusted or corroded. Number two, it reacts with the skin, causes health issues for the skin, leads to skin problems, cancers, so all those things. Maybe for human beings or for any other living beings. Also causes problem to the plants. They destroy the chromosomes in the plants also, thereby reducing the photosynthesis efficiency. So all these are the main problems with acid rain. Therefore, the emission of such toxic gases like SOx and NOx, popularly called. SOx is SOx, sulfur oxides. NOx, nitrogen oxides, are to be, as far as possible, controlled, reduced, or minimized. Then ozone depletion. Depletion is reduction. Uh, so ozone depletion is, as I told you in the previous slides, this is a stratosphere. Then ozone layer is there above this troposphere. Troposphere in the atmosphere. Here we have troposphere. Then above that ozone layer, then stratosphere covered with that. This ozone layer is helping us by absorbing the solar radiation. The two ultraviolet radiations which are coming from the sun, they are absorbed here. That absorption is done for a chain reaction. The chain reaction is, all of you know what is ozone. Ozone is O3. O3 continuously associates and dissociates into O2 plus O, and O plus O2 becomes O3. This is reverse reaction, chain reaction going on continuously since millions of years. But now what happened is liberation of these uh, chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, as I told you, mainly which are used in uh, refrigeration system, maybe fridges or cooling systems or air conditioners, ice makers, all those things. The CFCs are used, chlorofluorocarbons, so which contain chlorine, uh, chlorine. So these, when by leakage or when they are left to the atmosphere, they do not dissociate here in the atmosphere. They straight away reaches the ozone layer, and at this point they act as catalyst in the reaction in one direction. As I told you, in the ozone layer, it is a reverse reaction taking place. O2 plus O becomes O3. O3 dissociates into O2 plus O. When this chlorine reaches there, it acts as a catalyst and increase the speed of reaction of one direction, that is O3 dissociation into O2 plus O. That reaction is rate of reaction is increased, catalyzed. This acts as a catalyst, this CFC. So thereby contributing to dissociation of millions of ozone molecules into O2 plus O. But reverse reaction is taking place slowly at the same rate or same speed. On the other hand, forward reaction O3 to O2 plus O is catalyzed. Velocity is increased because of the catalyst, thereby causing depletion of the ozone layer. Ozone layer is being depleted. It is causing a thin layer of ozone. That is, density of the ozone is very less or low. So such low ozone density zones are called ozone holes. What I've heard. Huh? So those holes are leading to passage of unwanted harmful UV rays onto the earth surface. Okay. So as far as possible, we should try to minimize the leakage of CFCs. Therefore, now the stringent policies are there. These CFCs are now, they are not used. Instead of that, we are using some alternate refrigerants, so which do not have this chlorine. That's the measures that we have already taken. The CFCs are now almost banned. They are not in use. They are phased out, we say. So this is what I told you, depletion. Hmm. The reaction from O3 to O2 plus O, then reverse reaction, O plus O2 becomes O3. So this one reaction is catalyzed by the chlorine, increase the speed of reaction. Reverse is normal rate, so there is ozone holes created, leading to issues. Next, effect of ozone layer depletion. Depletion of the ozone layer would result in increase in the ultraviolet radiations reaching the Earth's surface, causing direct as well as indirect effects. Now we'll see direct effects. Direct effects are the ozone absorbs heat from the sun, which results in increase of temperature in the stratosphere. The reduction in ozone would lead to temperature changes and rainfall failures on the earth. Number one, direct effect. Then 1% reduction in ozone increase UV radiation reaching on the earth by 2%. Further leads to harmful effects like reduction in immunity, then increase in incidence of cancers and cataracts, then genetic disorders. All such issues will be increased because of reduction in the ozone layer density or intensity or due to the ozone holes. Indirect are reduction in plant growth, reduction in chlorophyll content. So there will be reduction in the plant growth, reduction in the chlorophyll content, increase in the mutation. Mutation, sudden they mutate, the DNA will mutate, make changes, and then uh, disturbance of ecological balance. Ecological balance is disturbed, then alter physical and chemical properties of substances. For example, plastics becomes brittle when exposed to harmful UV radiations. So these are some effects, indirect effects of ozone layer depletion. So with this, I will conclude the session 3 of module 1. Thank you.